Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. I've got a new mic, so I hope the audio is better. Anyway, we're going to get into some analysis here on NQ. It's Monday and there's no news, so I'm not expecting it to be pristine price action here as we expand further into all-time highs with this huge new week opening gap right here. I'm drop on the 15-minute just for a second, just to delete some of this. Some of these old markings up here. All right. So obviously we have the new week opening gap here, as well as this large unfilled area of the previous day's range. I'm going to mark up the quadrants of the new week opening gap in case we get a retracement into it, but I'm not expecting it by any means. And in case we do come this low, I'll also mark up this daily. We might find a another imbalance side of it that we can swap. I prefer imbalances to breakers, but we'll keep it there anyway. Sweet. Come here. And there is a obviously this daily FVG here in the break that we're reacting off of. I doubt price is going to come back down this low. We have a H4 as well. This is a breakaway gap. Again, not expecting price to come back down here. Breakaway. And obviously we have the range here, the 4-hour range. Now this is a huge range. So again, this is more of a weekly range. Not expecting it to come back down to EQ here this week. Sorry, today at least. We do have FOMC this week, I think. Wednesday or Thursday? Let me check. Wednesday, yeah, I sort of think it's on Wednesday. Okay. Anyway, I mean, we've got plenty of gaps there. There's not really anything definitive in this range. It's just kind of one huge move up. I would like a retracement into this new week opening gap here, though. I think this is more of a better range to mark up rather than H4. So I'll delete this for now and I'll like remark it up if we just drag this over a bit. I'll remark it if we end up reaching into there later in the week. So here we have the 4 quadrants of the new week opening gap as well as the range on the M15. I've marked it from here because it's the closest swing low that hasn't rebalanced EQ. Sorry, the rebalanced EQ, and obviously hasn't. This one didn't because the big opening gap. So this range is obviously valid, but it's huge. So, but what we can do here is we can start to mark up some sell side, some imbalances that we could potentially react off of. This will mark this up as a short-term range as well. This is obviously already rebalanced EQ, so with these FVGs here, you want to mark up all of them. So if you've got like, for example, here 3 in sequence, you want to cover all of them in one marking, really. Same with any volume imbalances too. See this one right here actually. Want to include that. Yeah. Got my sugar-free monster. Obviously, we are reacting off this M15 London low. And obviously, we've got M15 FVG here too. Now, if actually, I'll mark up this one instead because this is this one's probably better if we get an inversion. So if price comes down and inverts, obviously this BPR here, as well as this FVG, then we can be short-term bearish, potentially a retracement down to the week opening gap here, and maybe down to EQ of this range, which would be in near enough 25% gap fill on the new week opening gap. And we have some sell side here as well. We have London low. Mark it up. Let me just move my streaming window over to my other monitor, just so I can keep track of if anyone tunes in. There we are. Yeah, so we have London low as well. Asia low, which is actually in the new week opening gap. And obviously, we have some internal minor sell side here. And buy side too. We have a low resistance liquidity run here at the highs. Which potentially could just mean that we're going to go higher. I'll mark out the fib of this range. Actually, we didn't tap EQ of this range at pre-market, so this would be a nice area to take a buy off of if we sweep this internal low and react off the remainder of this M15 FEG here. Right. I'll be back shortly. Hello, hello. Apologies for that one. Take a look what 830 did here on the M1. So we have 830 right here. So 830 didn't expand really. So we can expect a 930 expansion and a manipulation, I think. Sorry, manipulation expansion. See what ES is doing here. A lot of equal highs on the ES. would indicate to me the price wants higher. There is a bearish SMT, but I don't really think that's going to matter too much, to be honest. Maybe short term, but I don't short all-time highs anyway, so it's kind of irrelevant to me. So back on the M15. Now, if ES takes this low and then Q doesn't, or vice versa, this will be a valid bullish SMT, especially if we don't close below this, or like a deep close in here. Now, obviously, if price closed below this low, some would mark this as a market structure shift or break of structure, but I don't really trade those. I don't really find them to be too predictable, too reliable anyway. For example, this low here got closed below, and price reacted off this M15 and carried on higher. So obviously, with the market structure shift, you have to sort of be in with the draw on liquidity. But I guess any position could be a winning position if you get the draw of liquidity right. So that's why I don't really use that. I like to use the range in imbalances, as well as liquidity, obviously. The rejection of this 15 here as well as this big M15 that rejected off earlier. I would like to see this low taken though, at least. So we have an M5. I'm hoping that we do see a manipulation here at market open. Although this is technically a valid long, this is I just don't trade pre-market, so I have rules in place for a reason. But there is an SMT. I mean, this is actually clean. The thing is, the risk to reward isn't great. I mean, you can target deeper into all-time highs. You could go for a fixed 2R. We do have an SMT here. The only issue is that we just haven't rebalanced EQ with this range. I guess you could say this is like close enough, but it's kind of got to be perfect for me to take a long position off of it. Not only that, but we also have them to hit the highs as well. So I'll delete the SMT for now, just because we want to wait for market open. Keep the 1 minute chart up here. And this is why you don't jump the gun, by the way. This is why you always wait for your entry model. If I'd have bought here, 2 minutes early because the 5 minute looked like it was going to close above. You know, we'd be in drawdown right now. Also, I don't trade pre-market. I have rules in place. You see, it keeps the losses small and the winner's nice. So the winner's high probability as well. Just waiting off market opening or 1 minute until market open. There's market open. Let me just go straight up higher. I thought so. Honestly, this looks like it might be a no trade day for me. I really wanted something to come down here and take this low. The M5 closed below as well, so this wasn't a valid version. I really do not want to take shorts at all-time highs too. Price just going to keep pushing up out. There's nothing here for me at the minute. Just gotta wait. Like I said, we have FOMC later on in the week. And, yeah, it's a no news Monday, so we'll stay on here probably until 10ish. Depending on what we get, maybe 10:30. I would really like to be bearish today. See price come down lower, but I just can't break my rules to take any sort of short at all-time highs. It'd have to be a retracement and how long. It doesn't look like we're going to get it anyway. Well, there's the low resistance liquidity run, and it's been run. And there was absolutely no setup to even target those here. This would be valid if it was bigger. Just quite a small imbalance. These normally indicate chop, stalling price. You know, something big and meaty, you know. Just flicking through the time frame, so see, whenever I see this sort of pattern here, an expansion followed by some consolidation, a sweep of the high, and then like some sort of rejection, this looks like the start of a market maker sell model. So like I said, I'd like to be bearish, but I just can't show all-time highs. And this would be very valid as well because there is an SMT. Like sometimes I'll try and like in the past I tried to like bend my rules and I'd be like, okay, well, I'll take it, but I'll only take it low risk. But I still like end up, you know, taking a loss more times than not. It just still doesn't work out worth it. Although this might look like a nice setup on paper. You know, you have the SMT and the low resistance liquidity run. But like I say, it just on paper it looks nice, but sticking to your rules, not really. I'd rather miss out on a winning trade than catch a winning one breaking my rules. So I do want to see a sweep of sell side. I want to see a sweep of sell side here and reaction off another potential gap. So there's, I mean, it's rebalanced the range. So I said I was looking for manipulation and expansion. If this is the manipulation here, we should expand lower. Obviously, that's not really what I want to see. I want to see price keep going higher into all-time highs. But just bear with me a minute. Apologies. So I wouldn't mind this for a long here. We got this M1 inversion. It looks quite seek and destroy sort of profile though, so I'm not like a huge fan of it. But we did rebalance EQ. We do have an SMT right here. As we do have this M1 inversion. It just looks quite seek and destroy, which I'm not a massive fan of. Like this is the sort of trade that you can take like lower risk. Like this isn't very pristine, you know. So I am going to take this lower risk, I think. I think there's a 2 minute though, so 2 minute, and yeah, I'm gonna wait for the 2 minute. Is there a 3 minute? Yeah. Let's look at the other time frames. It's 5 minute close actually as well. The 2 minute and the 5 minute will line up, and yeah, okay. So we'll wait for the 5 minute close here. I'm quite hesitant on this position. I'm not really a massive fan of it. I know I said I was going to take a lower risk, but I don't really like it. I'm actually going to wait, see if we get a maybe a confirmation here. So if I entered with 3 micros, it's only $126 of risk. I think I'll wait for the 30-second to be honest. Like just to close above this gap here. Okay. See if it closes. No, just another wick. Let's see if I was right avoiding this one. Like I say, I think to get into this, I'm gonna want to see a 30-second confirmation setup. So it doesn't look like we're gonna get a 30-second. Obviously, we have that same reoccurring pattern here. Wow. So we closed back below the M1. So this would have been a loss if I'd have actually taken it. I'm developing pretty nice instincts, pretty good instincts on when to avoid a trade, when they don't look great, why they don't look great. So I'm pretty glad I avoided this one actually, because I would have closed all the way down here, which would have, like I say, I would have only taken it low risk, but the low risk losses add up. So that's why you have to wait for something absolutely pristine. And if it doesn't look pristine, this to me doesn't look pristine. Identified the seek and destroy profile, and yeah, you're taking this up inside of consolidation basically. Although it technically as a pattern trade, it's an A plus. It's you need to wait for something, a confirmation, and this isn't enough confirmation here. This small 30-second. This isn't enough confirmation. It's too small. You want something that comes down, clearly reacts off of a lower time frame IFEG. So we got this 2-minute here. It came down. It reacted off this. Gives a 30-second entry, and then you go long. But this is not what you want to see. You see all this barcode. I used to get chopped up by this. This used to chop me up, and now I can identify it and avoid it. So if we had a gap here, if this was a 30-second gap here and it hadn't rebalanced, this would be a valid confirmation. You're reacting off this, but it's not. Instead, you're going in blind. Really, you're still in consolidation. You want to see price take out the range high or the range low. I know I said that I wanted to see a manipulation and then an expansion, or either of these could be the manipulation. Really, you've not got any clear set manipulation at the minute. You need to see which one gets taken first. This would be obviously to see the clear manipulation. Let me see if I can draw this out to show you better. So for the manipulation and expansion, so say we started here, this was 930. If we wanted to see a bullish manipulation expansion, we'd want to come down here, take this low, rebalance EQ, and then get a 30-second IFEG long setup, or a 1 minute, and then we can go higher. But obviously, we didn't get that. Instead, we ran higher without rebalancing EQ. I know it looks like we did, but it's because I moved up the Fibonacci to this high, so it lands up here. But we didn't. We went up, we came down. So this looks like your manipulation leg, and then we went down, and then we came back up again. Now, if this was just a balance here, and we got a lower time frame inversion, so say we closed below this one here, we could have taken that to head lower, like this. Obviously, we don't short all-time highs anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, I mean that's the gist of it, really. So what we'll do here, we'll wait for the 10 a.m. PO3. So with the 10 a.m. PO3, we should see some sort of manipulation for the the wick of the 4-hour candle, and then we come back down. So you see how every candle has a wick. On the lower time frame, that's gone up, and then it's come down, and then it's potentially come back up again. So we can see, for example, this one here. I'll zoom in a little bit. So with the start of this candle, say if we went on to the 5-second, you see price come down, go up, and then come down again and close here. On the lower time frame, on the H4, we can use that to our advantage because we're already on that time frame. We're already trading on the lower time frame. So if the H4 came up here, swept the high, came down, and then went sort of carried on lower down here, this would be the H4 PO3, the manipulation, and then we come up just to form the bottom of the wick here at the wick. Obviously, not all candles form like that, but most of them do, or they at least have a small wick, like right here, for example. Yeah, but this is just chop. You don't really want to be trading this, honestly. There's nothing here. Again, we're just waiting here now until the 10 a.m. macro, 10 a.m. PO3. I can probably actually get a PO3 indicator up there trying to show you. There. That's horrible. Not a fan of that one. Try this one. There we are. I'll delete it in a second because it's not great, but this is the current 4-hour candle. Obviously, you can see it's massive, but price came down. It opened here, it came down, and then we went up, and then we came down again. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So we start the new 10 a.m. candle soon. Which candle is this? Tell it says it opens again here, and like it must be the H4. And obviously, if we'd have jumped the gun here again and taken a short, what are you taking a short of? You know, there's no high, there's no imbalance that you've tapped. It's apart from this, but it's already completely rebalanced twice. It's very weak. You need strong stacking confluences. And right here we've formed a the resistance liquidity run. Obviously the angle is quite high, so you know you prefer the angle to be like slanted, like a gradual slope. It's quite high, but I mean it should still take this, to be honest. And ES still has a bunch of equal highs. Obviously, we're not trading in ES, we're trading NQ, and they're quite uncorrelated at the minute. Apologies if that was super loud. Knocked my arm on my microphone stand. We've just entered the macro here. I'll mark out the macro here with these red lines, so it's slightly easier to see. We'll get 30 seconds. There's no reason for us to be on the 30-second in this price action. Excuse me. So what I'm looking for in a minute, I'm looking for price to take this high, or preferably this low. Because if it takes this high, I'm not going to be looking for shorts anyway. All it'll do is, you know, we should probably head lower. But if it takes the low, then we can confirm that this was the manipulation, and we head lower, potentially take a buy a little bit later in the session. Obviously, vice versa. Now, if you were trading support and resistance, this would be nice, but we're not, so it's not nice. We've sort of made this range here, and we're trapped inside of it. So that's why we need to see price break out of this range before we even think about taking a position here. By the way, if you guys like the new mic, drop a comment. Curious. I'm going to be getting a new webcam here soon as well, so I'll be able to stop using my phone, and it'll be super crystal clear. So you can see that price is clearly holding this M15, as well as this M5 IFEG here. So, like I say, we do want to see it come down and take this low if we want higher. So some would say this is a setup, but again, you're still in the range. What's to say that it's not just going to come do this again? You know, yes, you have the inversion, but and it's slightly cleaner than the others, but you've taken some very minor internal range liquidity here, and you're only tapping into a 30-second IFEG, which we've already tapped into. There's nothing saying the price isn't just going to come back down here and do the exact same thing again. That's why you have to wait for the 10 a.m. PO3. Get some clarity on where price wants to go. So we might take out the high here. It's 10 a.m. We've got 5 minutes left till 10 a.m. So looks like price might continue higher here. We do have the inversion, and obviously the I used to trade this and stopped trading it because it was not making me it was not really a good strategy for me. But the silver bullet, this FEG long here, but obviously if you were taking only like 5 handles or something, then it'd have worked out. But the inversions are just so much more reliable. But this wasn't a good inversion really. Obviously it's valid because you've taken the low and you've tapped into a fair value gap reacting off the M15 and EQ, SMT2. So it is used ticked all the boxes, but it's just still in a range. That's one of my filters. I've got a whole list of filters that keep me out of lower probability trades, and this is just one of them. I need to wait for one of these highs or lows to be taken. Now, if they don't get taken, so be it. I miss out on the trade, but I'd rather miss the trade than take a break my rules, take a win. So. Got this minus also, so I'll just take this over. Maybe also rebalance DQ. So what I'll do here is I'll just drag this across a little bit. 10 a.m. I'll just mark this as range high, range low. I'm gonna mark out this long setup, even though we didn't take it because of my probability filters. I'll mark out why sort of the setup itself because it was a good mechanical play. Um, it's just so slow here. Okay, so we're coming into 10 a.m. now. See, the 10 a.m. PO3 is very subjective because obviously we have a very small wick here, but this could very well just be the wick of the H4. Like it doesn't have to come down. It just tends to give some more like clarity on where price wants to go. So this is the valid 30-second setup, and it was a nice RR to be fair at 2.7. It's just it just it just violated my rules. I want to see the range high or the range low taken first. That's why I didn't take this. We'll keep it marked anyway as like a tape read. So that would have hit full TP. Again, I'm not mad about it at all. Like, if this was like I don't know, 6 months ago, I would have been kicking myself in the mouth. Why didn't I take that? Why didn't I take that? But on this journey of trading, I've learned to master certain emotions that were holding me back. I had the strategy, I had the knowledge, but there was things in my own mind that were stopping me from becoming profitable. For example, FOMO. So, I mean, right here, obviously, I made these rules for a reason. Um, After extensive months of backtesting and journaling trade results with the same entry model, this is just it's a mechanical play. Objectively not great. So it is what it is. I'm not mad. I don't feel FOMO. It's just tape read and a reinforcement that my entry model is still good, even in unpredictable conditions. So what I was talking about with the PO3 here, we have a dip here. Now, this could very well be the H4 candle low, and we can just rock it into all-time highs. In which case, I'm going to give the price 7 minutes until the end of the 10 a.m. macro. But I don't think we're going to get anything here, really. I'm going to delete this range here. So obviously, like I said, I wanted the A range high to be taken, and it just happened to be this one. So that also confirms that this was the manipulation at 9:30. And this is the expansion. So we should continue to expand here. Now, if I'm going to take a position, I want to see a rebalance of a range. I want to see a rebalance of EQ. And it looks like it's going to have to be this whole leg here. If we want to get into a long, obviously it's a no-news Monday, so price could just move slow. But here's this M5 inversion. I mean, if you'd have taken it, again, it would have been valid, but you'd have been stuck in this. So, is the payoff worth it? This, by the way, is time distortion. Price is waiting for a specific time, and that time being 10 a.m. So, time distortion. So yeah, for us to get into a long here, I'd need to see price come down, potentially take out this low here. But there isn't really any imbalances to be reacting off of. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be an M3 here. So there is an M3 here. For M5, it looks like these are going to close soon. All right, guys, I'll be back shortly. Looks like we might be waiting for the M5 to close here. Price is kind of just making another range. The way that you can tell if price is waiting to make a move or waiting for an imbalance to close is you can go on the super low time frame, and if there's clear consolidation like this above an unbalanced area, it's most likely waiting. In this case, we have an M3 closure, and we have an M4 closure here as well. But price could be waiting another 1 minute 30 seconds for a you could be right or wrong. Measuring a lower time frame here, but like a super low time frame, so it's not really too accurate or reliable, but it's a metric that you can use. So we have another minute here until the M5. So if this M5 closes and we do get the gap, I'd want to see price come in, reach into the gap, and then a very, very clean 30-second IFVG long. I know it's not coming down into discount, but I would take it if it's at this low as well, and obviously this would be ideal. But you're reacting off a higher time frame, and if you swap liquidity, and even better if we get like a a mini SMT with ES. So there's the M5. We've come down, we've tapped into the M5. Name this. No gap yet. This is your minus sell side. If we get EQ, even better. We have 5 minutes to take EQ, take this low, and then reject. So there's minus sell side. We also have a 30-second IFVG here, and a 30-second here. I ideally want to see price come down here into discount. If it does it quickly, we'll still have, until the time that the M5 candle closes. M3's got 30 seconds, and the M4's got 30 seconds too. So. We'll see what happens here. CM15 saying not too much, to be honest. It does look bullish though. So this is kind of like a Hail Mary long. You're bullish, and again, it's not a great setup, but you have broken out of the range. The M1 and the M4 closed above, reacting off the M5. It's a valid play. We'll see if price wants EQ here, or if it does want to close above. So we hold this M1 gap. Again, I'd like to see price come down to EQ here. It doesn't need to come down to EQ though, because there is higher time frame and efficiency that we're reacting off. So if we get closure above this M1 here, I'll take a lower risk, like super low risk. But we are still ranging inside this M5. Obviously, we'd get a we get to M1 OB here as well if we closed above this big candle here. Next, we might get that EQ part. So we did close above. We closed inside of the FEG on the M5. The M3, the M4's only got 30 seconds left. We get the closure here. And we're stalling too much here, ready to contemplate taking this. It's not very good price action, as I predicted from it being a no news Monday with FOMC later in the week. Was that an M4 closure above? Nice. M4 closed above that one actually. I think we're set for range bound here today. For a swept this low, we've tapped DQ. I don't mind this for a long. The only thing is we did close below the M4. We do have 2 minutes now until the M5 closes. The M3 closed as well. Reacting a little bit off EQ here and this sell side liquidity. have some more side here. Obviously, we have a unfilled 30-second gap here. That we've just tapped into. So this would be valid here. This for a long. The valid setup. Obviously, you need to close above here. So the reason I didn't take this one is that we're obviously quite clearly bearish here. Yes, we're reacting off some PD arrays and we've got some sell side, but the way the price is just behaving, it's just not great. You know, it's just that natural instinct that comes in and just says, this isn't good, you know. Now, if we get maybe on the higher time frame, there's a 3 minute. It's quite small though. The 4 minute looks a little bit better. Yeah, it's just not great, really. I think I'm going to end the stream here, guys. I don't really think we're going to get anything. I didn't expect to be able to catch anything there on a No News Monday. So, well, if you tuned in, thanks for watching. And if you're watching, if you come from YouTube Shorts or anything and decide to check out any of my live streams, and you come across this one, again, thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something. I'm getting pretty good with these, you know, with trading and identifying good and bad trades, refining my model, refining my psychology, and I'm glad that if you're here, you can join me on this journey because I plan on keeping this going now. Alright guys, I'm going to end it there. Thank you if you watched, and goodbye.